Welcome to Illuminati Silver. We tell you the truth about silver. Today is Sunday the 13th of February 2022. And yesterday and earlier today, we published under different headings our weekly gold and silver price update, which may be quite a fortuitous one, bearing in mind the exciting week we have ahead. Now today and tomorrow, we were planning on producing our gold and silver forecast for this year. However, the tensions between Russia and Ukraine make it almost impossible to make a reasonable assessment of highs and lows until the situation plays out. So let's take a look. Before we proceed, I would just like to read a quick excerpt from a report on Bloomberg today. It encapsulates quite nicely what is actually, or appears to be, going on. Quote, Ukraine's foreign minister downplayed border tensions with Russia, saying there's been no pivotal change in the outlook. His comments came after US President Joe Biden warned Russia's President Vladimir Putin of the severe costs of any move to invade. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz will meet with Putin on Tuesday. The hour-long Putin-Biden call, which appeared to make little overall headway, capped a feverish round of talks among national leaders and diplomats after the US said intelligence indicates Russia may attack Ukraine before the Beijing Winter Olympics end in a week. Several countries have urged their citizens to leave the Ukraine. Russia has repeatedly denied that it plans an invasion, as the US and its NATO allies warn a build-up of almost 130,000 Russian troops near the Ukrainian border may be prepared to do so, including via Belarus from the north. German President Frank-Walter Steinmeier laid the blame for tensions over Ukraine at the feet of Russia and urged President Vladimir Putin not to underestimate the strength of democracy and the resolve he's up against. In an outspoken speech in Berlin moments after he was re-elected to a second term in the mainly ceremonial post, Steinmeier appealed to Putin to loosen the noose around Ukraine's neck. We are witnessing the threat of conflict, of war in Eastern Europe, and Russia bears the responsibility, said Steinmeier, a former foreign minister. The Ukrainian people have the right to a life without fear and threats of self-determination and sovereignty. No country in the world has the right to destroy that, and we will respond with determination to whomever so tries. Chancellor Olaf Scholz will reinforce the considerable consequences for Russia if it invades Ukraine when he meets with Russian President Vladimir Putin on Tuesday, a German government official said. Putin has repeatedly said that Russia has no intentions of invading. The official didn't want to comment on recent US intelligence assessments that an invasion may be imminent, saying only that the situation is extremely dangerous and could get out of control. But there's no need to be resigned to the inevitability of an invasion, and talks must continue, the official said. Israel joined several European and Asian countries in urging its citizens not to travel to Ukraine and to make plans to leave if there. The US on Saturday ordered most of its embassy staff to leave Kiev. Unquote. Now, we saw that last week. Just a brief mention of the seriousness of this situation caused gold to rise $50 for the week, $36 of which rose on Friday, and for silver to rise $1.07, 70 cents of which rose on Friday. Now, we've given our forecast for gold and silver for this coming week, but frankly, it's extremely difficult to give such a forecast in view of this pending issue, which really could prove to be an economic game changer. The reports we're receiving also suggest that with Biden being behind in the polls and his party would lose both houses of Congress if there was an election today, one cannot help but make the potential assessment or suspicion that any retaliation should Russia invade could indeed be quite severe and also escalating. So with all of this in mind, and we apologize in advance, we're going to delay our 2022 forecast until next weekend. These next 7 days really could be a game changer, and frankly could set a precedent for prices for much of the year. So my apologies for the delay, but there is little benefit putting out prices today only to have to change them in a number of days' time. We are reasonably confident of our predictions should there be no invasion, but we simply cannot rule one out at this stage. So apologies for yet a further delay, but rest assured we will do our utmost to factor all of the events in by next weekend, whether there is an invasion or not. Thank you for listening. Please bear with us one more week. Meanwhile, we will continue, obviously, each morning with our daily update as usual. If you feel so minded, please give this video a thumbs up, but most certainly if you haven't already done so, do subscribe to the channel and press the bell sign. We will produce ad hoc videos if circumstances change during the week, but for those interested, we have given a forecast for gold this coming week, the outlier region being somewhere between $1,790 and $1,950, and silver between $22.50 and $25.25. Reasonably wide spreads, but not outrageous. And should an invasion occur, then prices may spike even beyond these. Thank you once again. Do tune in tomorrow morning, or it'll be lunchtime UK time by the time the video is up and running, to listen to what's happening with the markets first thing. And also, if you haven't listened to our weekly update, we've put a link in the description box below and would ask you kindly to tune into that one. Meanwhile, have what's left of the weekend a reasonably pleasant time. We won't get too worried over what's happening, but we can certainly see here some concerns, and based on previous experience in dealing with politicians, there does seem to be an awful amount of activity going on behind the scenes. So the potential for a threat here is certainly there. At first we thought maybe it's just hyperbole and saber rattling, but having seen the level of activity and leaders now traveling to meet with Putin with such gusto, perhaps it is a little more concerning than one first thought that it might be. Join us again tomorrow, and don't forget, also join us next weekend for our forecast, come what may. Illuminati silver owners come from a background of banking, international wealth management and economics. Having now retired from these worlds, we are not qualified to give investment advice. Therefore, this and other productions must not be deemed to be giving such advice, and merely represent the personal views of its owners.